who's partnered with over 300 financial institutions, including Bank of America, American Express, PNC, Santander, SBI, HSBC, Standard Chartered Bank, Bank of England, India, Singapore, Scotland, Australia, and Indonesia, the largest banks in Japan, Canada, Egypt, the Middle East, United Arab Emiratis, Thailand, Morocco, Bhutan, South Korea, Brazil, and Latin America. Ripple, who is a former employee overseeing the Federal Reserve. Ripple, a former employee overseeing the world's largest asset manager, BlackRock's digital asset division. Ripple, leading Australia's CBDC effort. Ripple, who hired a former Treasury of the United States. Ripple, 2 former Federal Reserve attorneys to their board. Ripple, 2 former Clinton and Obama advisors, former Minister of Defense and Economics of Germany, former business director at Swift, former Swift board member, former CFO of PayPal, former head of the DTCC, former chief business officer at Uber, former VP of Amazon, and former SEC chair on their legal team. Ripple.
What's up, guys? Kevin Cage here with another crypto update. In today's video, we're going to dive into the Xrp price chart and the ALGO or Algorand price chart. We'll talk about the ISO 222 standard, which actually was around since 2004. We'll share some information about that along with killing off some hype. And then I want to talk a little bit more about Algorand, so let's kick it off. Okay, first things first, looking at the Xrp price chart on the monthly time frame, we can see that we've been holding 1, 2, 3, and 4 for 4 months at that 30 cent to 32 cent zone. Great to see we had some buy volume coming in here and finally pushing the Xrp price chart up just a bit. And we can see we first hit this level in early 2017, so this 30 cent zone per candle bodies, per wicks, per different retests, we can see to perfection right there, is an absolute key level on a multi-year time frame. So we'll be watching that right there, and I also want you to be mindful of that when we look at the ALGO price chart. Also, drawing a Fibonacci retracement on the 2013 high right there, wick to the 2014 all-time low price for XRP and dragging it all the way over. And as you can see right on the chart, let me just clean it up as best as possible. We have the high right there on the wick, and then the swing low right there. Now what we can see is to perfection, we have hit the 55 fib extension right there. And then during the previous cycle, last year, the all-time high price in 2021 around $1.96, right around that level at the 34 Fibonacci extension. Now using different fib levels, we've shown before that Phantom, Terra Luna, and even Bitcoin have reached a full 89 fib extension. For XRP, that's over $5 or $5.89. Now looking at previous cycles, I just want to emphasize using this high and dragging it all the way over, we can see that during this huge phase of distribution, a massive sell-off, 90% crash, we still retrace up to a 382 Fibonacci retracement, candle bodies right on that zone. After that, we crash below the 236, consolidate, and then finally take off. Now looking at this next high of over $3, we can see from wick to wick, or as best we can, we got close to the 618. Some exchanges it shows perfection, but for the most part, we made it up to the 50% retracement, then we crashed below the 236. So the question is, after having a very similar retracement, a crash below the 236, back in this type of reaccumulation similar to where we are today, have we found our bottom for the Xrp price chart? Are we going to have a short-term rally or a bigger rally to the upside? Remember, the QNT price chart has reached a 786 Fibonacci retracement. Just as QNT retested this area in these wicks, we can see right there, here, and there. The XRP price chart has done a very similar thing. It seems to be running about 1 to 2 months behind QNT, and I just wanted to share that, and that is just my opinion, but we can see retesting this entire zone, the 382 Fibonacci retracement. Whereas ALGO is still sitting well below retracements under the 236 and under previous levels, which would be around the 382 Fibonacci retracement right there, along with 68 cents just before the 618 Fibonacci retracement right there. Now, before we dive into some news and information, I just wanted to point out, remember, XRP was holding this level for 4 consecutive months and got that retracement. And I do believe we can retest higher levels. I do believe that we just retrace, and I think that alts are due. If you're bearish, you have every right to be. This macroeconomic environment is more complex and crazier than it's ever been. So I can't rule that out whatsoever, to each their own. But I also want to show you that down at this level, 1 monthly, 2, a wick, 3, 4. So we had like 4 or 5 months of data down here, right around 1776. We also noticed that we wicked and backtest this level to close that gap in liquidity at 1776. What a coincidence. Right after the SEC announced that they're coming after Ripple in December of 2020. I'll show the daily just to show you how crazy it was, and that resulted in like a 70% crash. Right here, the SEC announced on December 22nd, right after the winter solstice on the 21st, and we can see that that resulted, basically, from there all the way down, about a 70% crash. Closing that open gap that we had, and yes, you can go back to YouTube in 2020 around this time. You can go back to when we talked about this open gap, and notice the gap was actually around 1776, as weird as that sounds, right on the 4th of July or Independence Day. And this is just something fun. I don't want to get into conspiracy theories. To each their own, but I did want to show you this. So let's see. So like July 4th, 2020, as you can see the date right below my cursor. You can see is right at 1776. You can see Genie or Reborn 13 right here, and this is what I'm referencing. We can see XRP, gold, and silver all at 1776 on July 4th, 2020, or Independence Day. So I thought that was pretty interesting. We can see the ALGO price chart, 50 cents from 2019 all the way across, resistance before the March 2020 crash, and we have yet to retest it. We have other alts that have made it all the way up here, and ALGO is still just sitting low. And if you're super bearish, that is completely fine. I am not, but we can look, I mean, at different zones, 22 cents for ALGO, and let's see this zone right there, around 17 cents as well. I mean, you can entertain worst case, and from a risk reward perspective, that's up to you. But for me, I believe in ALGO, XRP, and HBAR long term. I mean, we essentially crashed 90% from that all-time high around 250, and I do believe that ALGO has the potential to hit over $5 in the future. Saw blockchain media sharing this. The ALGO market cap will be 10 billion, 40 billion, and $100 billion plus. And Algorand better surpass a $50 billion market cap in the future. We can see Algorand. Let's click market cap. This is just a lazy way to do it on CoinMarketCap. And we can see, I mean, we're under 14 billion. Let's just say like 13.3, 13.4. We can also look on CoinTrader to see the market cap of Algorand right there. And it looks like we got, technically per this wick, 15 billion. Wow. I mean, we could just consider this like 12 to 13 billion as a high. And looking at the top projects, understand during the bull run, right now we're sitting in the depths. During the bull run, the top 10, some of the top 20 had 50 billion or $80 billion market caps. And to do something comparable and look at something around a $50 billion market cap, let's do BNB. With the market capitalization of BNB with a $46 billion market cap would be over an 18x at $6.75, taking out that wick as well at $5.50. And sorry, I'm not a YouTuber telling you that ALGO and XRP are all going to $50,000 tomorrow. I just wanted to show you some basic analysis and do a few comparisons. So okay, let's talk about ALGO. So first off, Bank of Italy has chosen Algorand when they're looking at different DLT and different crypto networks, so I thought that was fascinating. We know that they upgraded with their recent upgrade from 1,200 transactions per second for speed all the way up to 6,000 TPS. They also implemented state proofs, and basically this is a way for cross-chain communication to gauge the state of another blockchain, which is huge. They're backed by MIT. MIT also runs a validator on the Xrp ledger, and state proofs are huge, and this is introduced on their mainnet as well. And understand the tokenomics. I know some people don't like alts with over $1 billion token supply or something like that, depending on a few books I've read, like Altcoin Trader's Handbook. But for me, the use case for ALGO with central bank digital currency infrastructure and carbon credits, like, it can be huge. And I do believe that alts, even HBAR and XRP, when you are solving a multi-trillion-dollar problem, there is still huge potential for price appreciation. They also upgraded the block size to 5 megabytes. Understand, megabytes is for storage, megabits is for speed, and sub 4-second block latency and finality. And remember that transactions per second or throughput is a trade-off. It is kind of a gimmick because they market it towards retail. Like, there might just be some project that is worth, or 1/1,000,000th of a penny, and they say, oh, it has 50,000 transactions per second, therefore it's better than XRP. No, not necessarily, because if they're leveraging sharding and breaking up the resources to increase their throughput or TPS, they're giving up security. Would you rather a network just go down and crash all the time like Solana, or would you rather have a blockchain that might be slower but is incredibly reliable? It never fails. And if they have real applications for financial institutions or enterprises, I'm telling you right now, maybe they'll test on Solana or different test networks. They will not put valuable information on their network and risk it going down on Solana in the future. I can guarantee that enterprises will not want anything that can break. So understand, with the blockchain trilemma, there is always a trade-off between scalability, security, and then decentralization. There's no perfect solution. So I just think the future is going to be multi-chain. I don't think it's just going to be one alt, and I try to blanket strategy across the board. Because I can absolutely be wrong on some of my picks, but what is so powerful about Algorand is they are quantumly secure. There's a lot of other projects that could be years behind. I saw David Schwartz commenting on this for the XRP ledger, which is great, and they're trying to stay like 5 years ahead of the curve. If they see some new breakthrough in hacking, of course that would be a concern. They would really just be working on implementing the best AI algorithms in the game to try to stay 5 years ahead of any type of risk. Exploits of cross-chain bridges or bridges to other blockchains have resulted in the loss of more than $2 billion this year alone. Also know FIFA chose ALGO. They also have an NFT marketplace, which will be massive. We know that Cristiano Ronaldo was also chosen by Binance as a sponsor. and Algorand is going to get a lot of eyes from billions of football or soccer fans around the globe. On their ecosystems page, they say over 500 organizations, so I linked this on Twitter if you want to check this out, and we can kind of see, technical, financial, ecosystem of applications, university partners, and so on. So tons of partners, you can't really debate that. And the thing is about XRP, ALGO, and HBAR, like, to each their own. If you don't like it, that's fine. I just can't comprehend that people actually think these projects are scams. They are very ambitious projects with hundreds of millions of dollars in funding. Some have real live pilots today with central banks. I can name several right now. We have HBAR with the South Korean bank Shinhan. That is a fact. We have XRP with plenty. Some banks only did test pilots. Some are doing live pilots today, even with the private XRP ledger. You have Algorand, at least with the Marshall Islands, even back in 2020. So this is factual. These are real projects. Just because the project crashes and we're in a bear market, it does not mean it's a scam. But does it suck during a bear market? Absolutely. Skybridge is another investment firm, and they invested $250 million or a $250 million bet on Algorand. And I know we're familiar with Anthony behind Skybridge as well, making that $250 million bet on the Google of crypto. And Skybridge, what's interesting is FTX. Whether or not you love or hate the exchange, they have a 30% stake in Skybridge, and Skybridge has a $250 million investment in Algorand. And I know the bear market stinks, but I'm just trying to focus on utility-based assets. I know it's, funny now because we're in a bear market, but I believe that we will be right in the years ahead. I believe that utility will be king, and I'm willing to look like an idiot for the coming years. Also, right on their website, they say a choice for 2,000 plus global organizations, the Algorand ecosystem. We have the Para wallet. Definitely recommend checking that out. It's free to use, and you can look at their website. Go right to algorand.com and fact check all of this for yourselves. And Bank of Italy has chosen ALGO, looking at a variety of DLTs and connecting the traditional market. As we can see, Algorand right there. Now here's a video I did back in 2020 of October covering Algorand, the Algorand Foundation, and ALGO Crypto Review. And I wasn't calling Algorand an Ethereum killer, I was quoting the article in this. So we know they had their central bank digital currency pilot with the Marshall Islands, a very tiny area, but still testing Algorand's technology. We know they were working with a group called Dust for diamond authenticity and certification on the blockchain, working with World Chess as well and at a variety of museums. Algorand was developing copyright management solutions on their blockchain. They also had a microfinance platform in Southeast Asia, along with Asset Block for real estate investments, and Planet Watch monitoring the air quality on ALGO's blockchain. So yeah, overall, just tons of information in this one. If you guys wanted to check this out, I should actually go through some of this and see which projects are still building, which ones were duds, and then monitor some of the newly launched projects on ALGO's website. And I also tweeted this back in 2020 if you want to check this out, just posting all the links and resources. You can just probably type something like this verbatim to pull it up yourselves. And this is also linked right in that YouTube video I uploaded. Okay, so now going to Swift's website, just typing in ISO 222. I pronounce it 222 based off of what I've heard from people in the industry call it, like Marcus Treacher. And for example, on Marcus's LinkedIn, this guy is in the know. He spent almost 5 years at the company Ripple, as you can see right there. And before that, he was at, Citibank, Accenture, one of Ripple's investors, HSBC, and on the board of directors of Swift, and also the Chaps Clearinghouse, which is just huge. Then he was at Ripple, then a board observer for Neum. We know their connections to the company Ripple, board of directors on RTGS Global. And remember that Ashish Birla is quoted to say that there are 3 big banks that oversee 80% of all cross-border payments. HSBC, which Marcus was here, Citibank, right here, and then JP Morgan. And I know haters will call Xrp decentralized, but it is far more decentralized than the current ecosystem. They are trying to decentralize the legacy infrastructure that is incredibly centralized. We're not going to move to a perfect world, but I just believe in technology that can improve this massively. I saw somebody comment on an Instagram post of mine the other day saying, if crypto is so good, why don't banks adopt it? It's because there's vested interest, guys. Banks are making trillions or banking on the trillions of dollars due to the inefficiencies in the cross-border market or transaction banking. They have business models based off of how bad our technology is today. So why on earth would they choose XRP when it can save customers billions of dollars and they would be missing out on huge revenue opportunities because of new technological improvements? So banks, governments, they're going to be fighting this for the next 10 years. That is one main reason why crypto is not adopted on a mainstream basis. And as we've seen, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Citadel, Fidelity, BlackRock, what are they all doing? They're all building crypto trading desks. This is obvious, but this is a slow and steady takeover or transition. So now looking at ISO, this is an older one from Ripple back in 2020, and a buddy shared this with me today. I know we did a video on this a while back, but just talking about ISO, shaping the future of cross-border payments. And a lot of people are marketing, ISO tokens. Just understand, the tokens are not compliant per se. Of course, we want Ripple to win the SEC lawsuit or get clarity for Xrp, at least on a going forward basis. I don't care if Ripple pays a fine. I assume they will for things they did in 2013, 2014, just as the Ethereum Foundation should. Ethereum and their foundation dumped ETH at the top twice on all of their investors. And everybody hates XRP, which is just comical. But just talking about ISO, the International Standards Organization established a universal standard, ISO 222, in 2004 to bring legacy payment infrastructure into the modern world and help to enable global interoperability and improved customer experience. So it is just a single standard. Remember that Chris Larson often says that we've seen this for logistics. A single standard, the way cargo is packed and transported around the world, the containerization drove down costs of goods and blurred the lines of regional boundaries, creating better interoperability and bridges and better efficiency across the board. When I lived in Illinois, I could order something off Amazon and get it the very next day. And of course, I can't do that now in Puerto Rico, but that's just one example. And RippleNet has been aligned with the ISO 222 standard from the start. And of course, even Q&T with their own standard as well. Gilbert, the CEO of Quant, he knows what he's doing. He was in the know right away too. But I also don't like when there's quant maxis that bash XRP and vice versa. It's like, guys, chill. We are on the same side. We are investing in technology that is going to and has radically changed how things are today. There are no good assets. This is just opportunity. You have to have no emotion when you're looking at alts. So going forward, if I say ISO tokens, just know I am fully aware that the companies can be ISO compliant, but not the tokens. But yes, I do consider Xrp, ALGO, a variety, even HBAR ISO compliant. And last but not least, if you just type in like ISO 222 in Swift and go right to their homepage on swift.com, and you can read a bit more about it. Now, of course, there's been various delays, but I'm just reading off Swift's website right now. November 2022, so next month, marks the start of the migration to ISO 222 for cross-border payments and reporting. Remember, this is just messaging. This is not settlement. Xrp does settlement, so I still think we're ways away, unfortunately. And whether you're adopting the standard from the start of the migration period or not, as a Swift customer, the mandatory action you need to perform before November 2022 is to upgrade your messaging interface. And we can see with a coexistence period with empty messages until November 2025.
Why do I hold XRP? Because Ripple's the chosen one to lead the new global digital payment system, and they use XRP. In 2013, the Federal Reserve began looking for faster payments options. 2 years later, an action plan was born and a federal payments task force was created. It included one company focused on crypto, Ripple. In 2014, the World Bank and Better Than Cash Alliance, which includes the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Clinton Global Initiative, and the governments of 32 countries, put out a report called The Opportunities of Digitizing Payments. 1 year later, the Better Than Cash Alliance featured one crypto company on their website, Ripple. Today, Better Than Cash Alliance and all other UN initiatives are focused on a single agenda, the Sustainable Development Goals for 2030. You can see the SDGs logo on Bill Gates' lapel, world-leading companies, the Better Than Cash Alliance website, and on the UN's official exchange, Exchange. What crypto is Exchange officially utilizing for their carbon credit solution? XRP. The world will move to a new international standard for exchanging electronic messages between financial institutions by 2025 called ISO 20022. Who was the first ISO 20022 member focused on distributed ledger technology? Ripple. Who's partnered with over 300 financial institutions, including Bank of America, American Express, PNC, Santander, SBI, HSBC, Standard Chartered Bank, Bank of England, India, Singapore, Scotland, Australia, and Indonesia, the largest banks in Japan, Canada, Egypt, the Middle East, United Arab Emirates, Thailand, Morocco, Bhutan, South Korea, Brazil, and Latin America? Ripple. Who is a former employee overseeing the Federal Reserve? Ripple. A former employee overseeing the world's largest asset manager, BlackRock's digital asset division? Ripple. Leading Australia's CBDC effort? Ripple. Who hired a former Treasury of the United States? Ripple. 2 former Federal Reserve attorneys to their board? Ripple. 2 former Clinton and Obama advisors? Former Minister of Defense and Economics of Germany? Former business director at Swift? Former Swift board member? Former CFO of PayPal? Former head of the DTCC? Former chief business officer at Uber? Former VP of Amazon and former SEC chair on their legal team? Ripple. Who's a member of the Digital Pound Foundation, Digital Dollar Project, Digital Euro Association, Mojaloop, IMF's high-level advisory board on fintech, Hyperledger Blockchain Consortium, Open Payments Coalition, Faster Payments Council, Global Payments Steering Group, Cross-Border Working Group, International Association for Trusted Blockchain Applications, Crypto Climate Accord, University Blockchain Initiative, World Wide Web Consortium, and a featured partner of the World Economic Forum with 3 members of their team directly listed on the WF website? Ripple. Now, does Ripple and XRP sound like they're going to disappear, or do they sound like they're part of a much bigger plan? You decide.
If you enjoyed this video, I'd greatly appreciate hitting the like button and subscribing. Let me know your thoughts down below. And as always, my link tree is linked right in the top of this YouTube video description with all links, crypto resources, and discounts. I'll catch you in the next one.